huge. And
I
that
think
takes
you can ask for a miracle if you're willing to put in the work.
Yeah, but it's got to be disciplined. Or else what happens is you have fast start, no finish.
Absolutely.
Because there's no structure. What you do two things basically, Charlie. You bring knowledge to the table so that you correct the mistakes, the eating mistakes. You correct the actual misjudgments.
Absolutely.
But you put in a program that's doable.
Absolutely.
You see, and without that doable program,
it's not sustainable.
No, you don't. People don't sustain it. In fact, what makes it more interesting than this is down the road, once a person gets to their goal, like I did, I guess, 4 years ago, your lifestyle doesn't change. You have to maintain that same lifestyle. And for me, for whatever it's worth to your audience, is accountability. And so I still come to you every 2 weeks.
Just to make sure that you have that measure of accountability.
And the discipline and the knowledge. How many times did I come to you and say, what happened, Charlie? I ate this, how did this happen?
Yes, you always have to evolve as your body evolves. So for you at home, if you're at the age that Ted's at, know that you too can change, and you can ask God for a miracle. But remember, a miracle is dependent on your discipline and your willingness to step into that gap and take action that you haven't been taking before. We'll be right back. So if you're ready to really reclaim your health from your habits, pick up a copy of my book, Think and Grow Thin. It's available at my website, charlesdeangelo.com, or call my office for a free consultation at 314-495-3228. You know, it's really scary to think that people who are obese, like the former me, they have a 50 to 100% higher chance of premature death because of it. A third of the people in our country now are overweight and obese, according to the World Health Organization. The prevalence of obesity has just about doubled in the last 20 years between 1980 and 2000. This is just a problem that it can start as early as you saw in my case. A third of our kids now are overweight or obese. And the statistics are showing that the 70% of those kids that are overweight or obese, they end up growing up to be obese adults. About a third have overweight parents, and most of these kids spend most of their time in front of a screen, whether it be TV, a tablet, or a computer, more than they do in school, reading, any of those things. It doesn't sound too encouraging, does it? I mean, with those facts, it'd be easy to think that your history is going to be your future, but I'm here to obliterate that. You can create a fulfilling future for yourself if you're ready to change a critical element in the equation, which is ultimately your mindset. We have Alan Finnegan here tonight. Alan has now kept his weight off. He lost over 100 pounds. And you've kept it off now how long, Alan?
A little over 3 years.
Excellent.
3.5 years.
Okay, so it's been 3.5 years. Your heaviest weight was what?
About 270.
Okay, so you're 270 at your very heaviest. Now what do you weigh?
175.
Excellent. So what for you, I've asked everyone on the show so far, what for you was the decision-making point?
You know, for me, when I started down at Mizzou, I was in a completely new environment, and it's probably a little bit different than everyone else. I wanted to be able to walk to class, you know, go to a party and just feel comfortable with who I was. And I couldn't do that. I was constantly just worried that everyone was just
hypercritical of yourself?
Oh yeah, just everyone was judging me. I was, you know, it was very stressful, and I just.
When you say it was stressful, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, when you're
about?
constantly worried about people looking at you, just thinking about what they're thinking about you, and
absolutely,
and it's just constant. And
so
just
it's like this voice that's always talking to you, saying you're not good enough, you don't look the way everyone else does. It's this constant critic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know, I've been there. I was 360 pounds. So what was it that you finally decided I wasn't going to listen to that voice anymore? I was going to come see me and start this whole program.
You know, I remember the very first party I went to down at Mizzou. I went with a bunch of friends. I was about to have a good time, and I sat in the corner the whole night by myself because I was not comfortable with who I was. Everyone else was having a good time because they could just be themselves, but I didn't feel like I could, and I couldn't. So
the weight was literally kind of a barrier between who you were and being able to express that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? So how did you experience it? Was it that you weren't able to approach other people? Was it you weren't able to do as well academically? I mean, really, what was suffering because of that?
I did fine academically. I just, you know, my interactions with other people, I would certainly never approach anyone.
Do you think, though, that because of that pain that you went through, you have a lot more understanding for people today?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
you just graduated law school, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So here you just graduated Mizzou Law School, right? Your dating life is probably a little bit more improved than it used to be. A
little bit, yeah.
Right? Okay. So you got a lot more going on now in your life. So when you see that guy that's 15, 16, 17 years old, or maybe that girl, you know, you walk through Walmart and you see someone who's struggling like you once did, what goes through your mind now when you see them?
I feel awful for them. And you know what? It happens all the time.
Does it?
I'll see somebody and it's just, you know, I want to help them because it's not hard to do.
And when you say it's not hard and someone says, yeah, right, I mean, losing 100 pounds, that is crazy. I could never do that. When you hear that, and I hear it all the time in my office, what do you say to that person that says it's not easy?
You know, for me, it was, I like routines. So working with you, I got in a routine and that's how I flourished, I guess. But it's going to be different for other people, but I thought it was easy because I like routines and it was very easy for me to follow.
So having a plan that was pretty strategic, right? Was it hard to follow while you were in college? I mean, heck, there's all sorts of alcohol, there's all sorts of junk food, there's all sorts of parties like you talked about. Was that really hard? Or?
Oh, it was harder than it might be for someone else. I mean, you're just constantly surrounded by awful food and drinking on the weekends.
So what kept you on the straight and narrow aside, of course, from the program that you and I designed?
You know, I started losing the weight and I was just feeling more comfortable, and I just, you know, once you see some progress, it just makes you hungry, or you just want more.
We've heard that several times tonight, that success feeds itself,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Just like failure does.
Yeah.
So if you're at the point in your life where you're ready to decide, okay, enough's enough, I've heard enough from these people, I'm ready to really get interested in what this is all about. You know, if you're not ready to call my office, pick up my book, Think and Grow Thin. It's available at every bookstore now across the country and my website, charlesdangelo.com. Stay tuned and we'll have more when you come back. So if you're ready to really reclaim your health from your habits, pick up a copy of my book, Think and Grow Thin. It's available at my website, charlesdangelo.com. Or call my office for a free consultation at 314-495-3228. Sometimes you might feel like your life is burning down around you. You have all sorts of storms going on, all sorts of fires, maybe family problems, issues that got you stressed out. Well, if you feel that way, you have to understand, wishing that it'll be different won't make it different, but action will. I have with me one of my clients, Chris Severino. He's a captain at the St. Louis Fire Department who has lost now nearly 80 pounds despite a crazy schedule of literally putting out fires, right?
Well, yes, here and there. We do a lot of running. We do some calls.
So here you are, a well-built Italian guy, Italian stud, looking good here. Shortly before you met me, though, you were much heavier and quite unhealthy. So talk about what really clicked for you that made you decide that you had to do something and how you did it.
Well, my blood pressure was high. My doctor told me I was right at blood sugars for diabetic, pre-diabetic.
So you were what Dr. Rothstein and I had discussed, borderline diabetic.
Right. You know, and then, you know, my doctor sent me nutritionists. Well, they told me this. Well, that wasn't working. I needed more guidance.
You know, a little bit something that was easy to follow.
Right.
Simple, that had real foods in it.
Right.
Right.
You know, but just tell me this category. I needed exactly what to be told.
So once you knew exactly what to do, knowing it's part of it, but working with me, what about working with me helped you to get yourself to do what you knew you should have been doing all along?
Oh, I mean, you got me motivated. You got me maybe, you know, it was like night and day when I started doing what you told me to do, and I started feeling better. My health-wise, I was getting better. I mean, I feel great now.
So when you say feeling better, you had went through a divorce before you saw me,
Right.
right? So when I was talking about storms of life, maybe you're at home and you've had your relationship end and you find yourself filling that emotional void with food. Maybe you find yourself distracting yourself. What do you have to say, Chris, for maybe a man or a woman, someone that's maybe in the middle of their life and their life's taken a turn they didn't expect? What would you say that person should do to really transform the quality of their life in a way that
I mean,
you
never
have?
give up. I mean, you can do it. I mean, I'm a living proof that you can do it. I mean, I'm Italian. I eat a lot.
Italian like me, right?
Yeah, you know,
Grew
I
up
used
on
to eat
the
a
hill,
lot.
grew up on the
I'm
hill.
at the firehouse. You got the supper clubs there.
You got Canettos, you got Guidos.
I got all these places, but you know, I just wasn't happy with myself. I was weighing too much. My blood pressure, right now, I'm not taking any medication. I'm off the blood pressure medicine.
And you're ready to do the next photo shoot for St. Louis Fire Department's hottest fireman, right?
That's
what
it.
you were telling me?
You know it.
All right. Well, if you're at home and you're feeling lost, you feel desperate, look, you just need to focus in on the reasons you need to change. Reasons always come first, and then the way becomes available to you. Focus in on why you need to make this a must. Start to take those actions that you can take if you call me or get my book, and you too can transform your life. We'll be right back. So if you're ready to really reclaim your health from your habits, pick up a copy of my book, Think and Grow Thin. It's available at my website, charlesdangelo.com, or call my office for a free consultation at 314-495-3228. Thanks for tuning in. I want you to know that you too can be a success like all of my clients. As you see, there's really never a perfect time for change. Change and discipline can always feel difficult, but the most extreme pain of all is regret. Think about what you're missing out on, the level of joy that you'll experience when you really commit at the level you're capable. So I challenge you tonight to step up, set a new standard for yourself, and ignite your inner fire. I'm Charles D'Angelo, and thanks again. God bless, and have a great day.